Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages. A2D proudly presents to you its tag team champions of the world. I don't care. Some people may be watching, don't know who that is, but go back and watch it. New Age Outlaws. It's your boy OGP. We got the butters. It's in this very ring on A2D Radio. Listen, man, it's been a tremendous week for wrestling. Some good, some bad.
Yeah.
Andy is not here. He's in Disney with his Mickey Mouse ears and his Mickey tail and the Mickey gloves. Trying to find himself a mini. Who knows? We'll see what he comes back. Who knows? One would think. Coinky dink dink. But no. Tonight's poll question. We're gonna get right into it. It's gonna be a substance show, but maybe a little quicker on the quicker side, on the shorter side, because we are both short in stature. And a little round mound of the rotund. But NXT, the poll question for tonight is...
Hold on, Pete.
Oh.
What's up, my family? Listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah!
What the f*** are you talking about?
Well, listen, we're back, but we never left. We ran everything. It's tag team champions of the world on A2D Radio. It's your boy OGP. It's Butters. We probably actually got the trio champ, Greg Steppe, produced in the background. Greg Malakovic. You can catch him on Wednesday night. Degenerate of all things. He doesn't like anything. He's the curmudgeon of A2D, but I love him anyway because he loves golf just like I do. So tonight's poll question, Butters. NXT would have done worse tonight had they not brought in the big guns against AEW. Before you answer, I'll just give a rundown. We had John Cena, we had Cody Rhodes, we had Asuka, we had Undertaker, and Paul Heyman, all on the Tuesday night NXT in a venue that could probably only house maybe 2,000 people. If that. So a very, very intimate setting. But Butters, what do you say to the poll question?
You know, I'd have to agree on it. If it was just any other NXT night, honestly, with what they have right now, they might have done worse. They might have honestly AEW might have barely beat them. And I say barely.
Okay.
I mean, because honestly and truly, the fact that both shows did as good as they did going up against, the playoffs, for instance, and whatever else happens on a Tuesday night that's important.
Mm.
Shows a lot for both shows, but honestly, the fact that they had to bring out all the big guns, they probably would have done a lot worse. So I'd agree to the poll.
Okay. I would say I agree to the poll from the standpoint they may have done worse, but I still think they would have beaten AEW. It's hard to move a show to a night that is not on and then promote it less than the week before. Like, when I say promoted, like heavily promoted, to where Tony Khan put the emphasis on the ring announcer, say Title Tuesday. We weren't hearing about Title Tuesday 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I know sometimes with the Major League Baseball, you kind of have some workarounds. I get that from that standpoint, but something should have been laid in the groundwork to say, hey, like, we may have to move to Tuesday. We may have to move to Tuesday. We may have to, like, something like the little seed planting, right?
He should have just went ahead and said, screw it, do the Tuesday thing.
I agree with you there. Tuesday should have been supplanted because, honestly, Tuesday there was not going to be a game anyway. So even if you committed to saying, like you're saying, Butters, if you commit to saying, hey, we're going to move to Tuesday, the second week of October, whether it's a game or not, we're moving to Tuesday. It's going to be Title Tuesday, and then you build around that and you promote it. Because generally NXT's drawing anywhere between, I say, 600 to 800,000 viewers on a weekly basis.
Yep.
AEW may be anywhere between 700,000 and 900,000. I could be off of my figures, but if NXT they drew a regular Tuesday night number around 700,000, they still beat the 600,000 on AEW.
Yeah.
We've seen it. We now I will say this: WWE did take the attention away, but AEW also didn't do themselves any favors. We won't get into it, but it involved some coin currency and this bad taste. Which you can even see it. We saw it on Twitter.
I was about to say it's not just that that happened during the show. The most of it was what happened before and after the show, really, on Twitter.
Yeah,
that had that didn't help at all.
No, didn't help at all.
To me, honestly, that hurt more than anything. I mean, if anything, his lawyers just need to take away his Twitter access and give it to somebody else.
Yeah, for sure. It's almost like having just a lack of awareness, a lack of what optics, what lack of culture, lack of just common sense, right? Mm-hmm. But we even seen it. Even people who were there in the suite at AEW, they were watching NXT.
Yep.
I mean, we've seen AEW Dynamite numbers. If you go back and look at 2019, 2020, even 2021, you look at like just the average attendance, right? What's up, Wilson? Wilson catching on A2D Radio, A2D Agree to Disagree flagship on Sunday nights. But even if you look at the Dynamite's trend of attendance, it's been trending downward. They've been doing smaller venues.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's more intimate. I get that. But even with those smaller venues, they're having a hard time selling it out. Like they're losing steam. And like if Smackdown season premiere tonight could tell you anything, it's like WWE's ramping it up.
Yep. They're
giving the people what they want. I didn't think we were going to get what we saw tonight this early.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we talked about it last week. We thought that was sometime in December, Royal Rumble, and Crown Jewel was going in a different direction, right? Correct. So maybe they can still get to that point where they want to do a Crown Jewel and kind of put that on the back burner. But then, they're hitting on all cylinders for the most part when it comes to WWE. But NXT's not that far behind to where I would say earlier this year, you was like, I was even questioning like this NXT 2.0 or this iteration, are we ever going to get back to the matches and the stories and the characters that we believed in, like what was the black and gold brand? And slowly but surely, we're starting to get there.
I was about to say, I think they're slowly, getting there, with especially, Tuesday night with Ilja and Dominic and, Braun and Carmelo, taking it back for a third, fourth time, however many times it is, we're slowly seeing that with some of these matches here.
Right.
We're not there quite yet, but we're getting there.
Right. But even a nod to the women, right? When we saw the Tiffany Stratton and Becky Lynch is still your NXT champion, right? Mm-hmm. Then now you're going to get Becky and Valkyria. I mean, even the rub of Paul just showing Reign, aka Simone Johnson, just putting those two on camera together. Everybody knows what that meant. You tweeted, you shared it with us right away. Because it's like, what that means, what that can lead to, right? So
blew social media into a firestorm. They're like, whoa, is this the button? Is this what takes it up?
Right. Is this what takes us to the next level? Is this what gets him off the couch? Is this what gets Dwayne The Rock? Okay. Okay.
You ain't taking care of my baby girl, so
exactly. Like you could be the chief all you want, but I'm the chief for that because she came from me.
Yep.
But I feel like right now, WWE, even at the NXT level, is somewhat representing some cohesiveness in their storytelling. They're blurring lines between so-called brands, but it's all, pun intended, on brand. What's up, Don Don? It's all on brand to where nothing feels stretched, nothing feels rushed in a bad way. Nothing feels like, all right, we're just throwing this shit together.
Yeah.
Like tonight, you saw Grayson, you saw Grayson Waller, Austin Theory team up. Money together, in my opinion.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Money together, in my opinion. Hold on one second.
Honestly, I guess I didn't see, them accepting the match, but I was excited. As soon as I seen it announced during Smackdown, I was like, okay, I like this. I want to see it. Let's do this.
Right. And then the Cody Rhodes Dusty Memorial Tournament, just him acknowledging the fact that I never thought I would step foot in this ring, in this building, in this setting, because he's all around. And hey, I'm here. But now that I'm here, boom, Dusty Rhodes Memorial Tournament's coming back. Then I throw the cherry on top with him being the special guest general manager, and then boom, instantly making matches. The rubs backstage with they're doing everything perfect with Jade right now.
Yep,
everything perfect. Just small features, no
quick
contact, looking like $1 million.
Yep,
$1 million. But fam, chime in. Tonight's poll is did NXT Tuesday would they've done worse if they didn't have the big guns against AEW? Agree or disagree? Let us know in the chat. I'm going to take a little off-screen break. I'll be back in 10 seconds. I need to get some water before I cough up a lung on camera. We don't want that to happen.
I don't blame you shit. So while he's doing that, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. Well, let's see. NXT, like I said earlier, they're doing a whole lot better. They're slowly ramping it up to, the original black and gold. We're not going to see that back again, of course. But, again, NXT is
you're absolutely 100% right. That black and gold brand was something, one of its own.
One of a kind, lightning in a bottle.
Yes.
They're trying to capture it again, but, and props to Sean because he's doing his damnedest.
Sean is trying his butt off. But I would also say the road is not, the ladder goes in both directions.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen people constantly with the black and gold brand come up on the ladder and then never come back down. They never come back home to NXT.
Yep.
Now that door is it works both ways. Baron Corbin has found another gear.
Again.
Coming out on a bike at No Mercy, right? Coming out on a motorcycle. I'm curious to see who's going to be next, not just to come up, but also who may come back, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think someone that can definitely benefit from coming back right now, Killer Cross.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Carrying Cross. I still call it Killer Cross. Carrying Cross. I don't know where he's at. I don't know if he's hurt, whatever. Him coming back.
I think it's more of they don't have anything for him to do because, like, reading interviews as of lately, they had stuff, but then that all kind of went away due to, unforeseen circumstances.
Right. Exactly.
And so now it's like creative has nothing to do. Well, I agree. Put him back on NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Get him a couple feuds down there, till you have something back on the, Finn Balor did it. I mean, why not? Just go down there for a little bit, do your thing.
Heck, how far was Becky removed from NXT? Never acknowledged it.
Yep.
And now she's carrying the NXT Women's strap. Honestly, not only has just her carrying the strap has elevated it, but you automatically saw it made Tiffany Stratton elevate her game. And the the matches that they've have elevated the title even more.
That match they had at No Mercy was just that elevated Tiffany just well up there.
Well, like to where it sucks because I don't know there's a spot for Tiff on the main roster right now. The women's division is so strong, unlike what we saw in AEW.
Yeah.
And it is cohesive, right? To a point. So speaking of that, let's talk the other side, right? Real quick. Let's talk the other side of AEW and what happened on Dynamite, just very high level.
I didn't catch much of Dynamite because I was too busy watching NXT.
Me either, but we'll just talk about the basic things.
So
TK has these wants with factions, right? And he has certain guys that he only sees in a faction, like Powerhouse
Yes.
Hobbs, which I love Hobbs with Callis as being the enforcer. But I thought Hobbs as well with QT. Like Hobbs just went from the Book of Hobbs, TNT champion on his own, beating Wardlow, to now he was with QT and them, and then that didn't work. Now all of a sudden he goes away, comes back. Now he's part of the Callis family. Don't understand that booking where it's just kind of all over the place. Like Greg says, hit the like and the subscribe, feed the algo. And that just helps out because it makes you two pushes and more searches pop up in upcoming videos of recent interest. And you can click on it and like. If you don't want to watch us in video, you can always catch us anywhere on whatever streaming service that you use to absorb your music or your podcast, whatever you want to call it. Content, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, which is going away, by the way. Being transferred over to YouTube Music. Makes sense. It's the most recognizable brand for Google. And then if you are there, if you already are there and you're listening, give us a review. Give us an honest review. That also helps and goes a long way. But I mean, from Luchasaurus, the match with Rated R superstar Adam Copeland, which just seems weird as shit to say, but still, to the running that they had at the end. To Hikaru Shida being the first ever AEW 3 times women's champion.
Yes. A crazy upset of the night of Tony putting it back on Shida after he puts it on Shida, takes it off of Shida, now he's putting it back on Shida. She deserves it. I mean, she can elevate the women's division, but I'm trying to wrap my head around Tony's booking here.
Right. Well, that's where I think somebody very well you've met. She's close to coming back. We're speaking about Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa. I'm sorry. Let me make sure I enunciate it correctly. Been away for over a year, I believe now.
Yeah.
Over a year now. She's similar to like Randy Orton's kind of been away for a year. But rumor is she's getting closer to coming back. So then you can she never lost the title. She never lost the title.
Nope.
You know what I mean? So she had to relinquish the title. They had all these tournaments, interim champions, things of that nature. But I mean, the promo that Christian gave between him, and I'm still going to refer to him as Edge. I loved it. And Christian said you tried to appear to them. It didn't work for you in the other place you were at. They turned to you and they kicked you out. I'm their father. They look at me for support. It's creepy as he said it, but that's what makes Christian. Christian has to go to that level because he's just way more. He's kind of more layered than Edge in a way, especially when it comes to his promo work. So overall, it was a typical AEW show. You know what I mean? Inconsistent booking, and I'm not bashing AEW. This is nothing new. It's inconsistent booking. Things
Orange
don't
Cassidy
make
is
sense.
your new international champion, which I kind of seen that coming of them changing that title again because I don't think Phoenix was supposed to have it in the first place.
But how bad is this Mox injury? And if Mox's injury is that bad, I actually kind of think this may be a blessing in disguise in a way.
Yeah.
But what happens is now Danielson can not step up. Obviously, Danielson's already there, but they can just do something different to where I'm not looking. Mox out of that Blackpool Combat Club, he's the most brawler-esque. Where the other 3, they can wrestle, they can work. Claudio, Danielson, Yuta, they can work. So they can get back to what they originally are good at instead of this smosh fest and cater to what Moxley can do, right? So I appreciate that. Once again, Cassidy getting the international championship again, in my opinion, should have never lost it. I
can understand losing it to Moxley. It was
right.
It was the thing to do. It was about time, yes, but at the same time, I think with Rey Fenix, I think he's having visa issues, so now you got to worry about taking the title off of him. It's like,
You constantly and here's the biggest thing, right? You announce a match the Wednesday before, and then he's not cleared.
Yeah, he's not. The day of, he finds out he's not cleared.
But you promote the match the Wednesday before, and he's not cleared. So then you call an audible for Phoenix, and then you still take the title off of it. It's like when this originally started back in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, they said that wins and losses were going to mean something. Records were going to have some substance. You've had shorter title reigns, hot tag titles, hot potato titles for no reason. They constantly did it with the TNT Championship to take it off of this person, put it on this person, just to get this person into it because that original person who had it couldn't take the pin. Yes, they could have. You didn't have to do all that.
Yep.
We seen the same thing with the Women's Championship before Sheeta had it. It was on Toni Storm. It was a title change with Sheeta. Then it was right before was it all out? The one was Wembley called. What was Wembley called? All
I think it was All Out.
All Out. So then you create a tournament to where the champion, the previous champion, Toni Storm, gets a first round bye, but the current champion had to have a qualifying match. In what world? And then no reasoning for it. You could have said, okay, well, Sheeta and Toni Storm get a bye because she's the current champion. Toni Storm's the former champion, and she could invoke her rematch clause, but she's invoking it, but she's doing it in the form of a tournament. Between that, I mean, the tag team titles came off the Acclaim, went to the Guns just to put them on FTR. You could have had a match between FTR and Acclaim and had FTR go over. And just a good.
Well, I think it's because Cash is hurt now.
No, I'm talking about the recent title loss that they had from Collision. I'm just highlighting all these points of just making two moves when you could have just made one.
Correct.
I'm cool right now with how if Cash is hurt, Ricky Starks, Big Bill, your AEW tag team champions, I'm cool with that. I love what the Acclaim is doing with the trio titles. They're just money. I love that.
I think Tony needs to hire people to help run his show and just have him sit back and just make the super big choice, the super big, decisions.
The big picture.
The big picture. Say, hey, I want to get here, get me there.
Right, where he needs to take more of a view of the whole field, right, and have big outlook. All right, these are checkpoints that we need to get to, like you said. But ground level stuff, have an ear to it, but don't try to be all in the mix. Let somebody else step up and do that, right?
Exactly. Just step back and watch. You've got.
Do they even have a creative team that we know about?
I mean, that I know of.
They have producers.
I mean, you've got great minds in Malenko, Anderson. You can have Jericho back there. You got Kenny Omega. You've got old and young minds alike back there that could run that show better than Tony could.
Yeah. It's frustrating with me with AEW because I feel like they can be so much more. And I have friends who watch AEW, and then I have some friends who love AEW in every instance, but I think that's more of the bias that they're not WWE. Then I have people who love WWE, but they still think AEW because they put on a similar product at a similar time that it's a competition. I said that's the definition of a competition at its most primitive form. AEW and WWE are operating, while similar, on two separate wavelengths.
Mm-hmm.
They're it's like NFL, XFL. That's how far the gap is as far as, I wouldn't say so much in ring because wrestling is wrestling, good wrestling is good wrestling, but as far as cohesive storytelling, what they do outside of the ring and what the vision is behind the brand and behind the company. I mean, because you have a multi-billion-dollar company now back in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Tony Khan got his money and his daddy Shad's money. Don't get me wrong. but it's different because there's multiple voices that are getting funneled into one person to make a decision.
Correct.
And that's the chief content officer is Triple H, right? So I think some of that shows. So it's not a true competition where if you'd have asked me this question 2 years ago, I felt like it was closer. Now, I know Tony Khan has changed the sets. He's done this. He went to a different view where I think Collision has like that more Saturday night main event and Saturday night WWE Saturday night feel, WCW Thunder feel. But you're doing like you can look at your attendance and your shit is dropping. Now, I hope, and the goal is that the Max deal helps. The HBO Max digital licensing deal, digital streaming deal is buku important for them. Because now you can run more pay-per-views, but you don't have to worry about the buys, this, that, and the third, right?
You have a true platform.
Right. It is a true platform. And here's the biggest thing too. Now you've been out for 4 years. You've had several pay-per-views, big moments, Hangman Page winning the title, MJF winning the title. We can go back to All Out Chicago 2021. We had Adam Cole. CM Punk was already on. No, was CM Punk on that show or did he come after? No, he was on that show, wasn't he?
I think so. I could be wrong.
That's when he fought, him and Darby. But then on top of that, you had Bryan Danielson come back. So you had that moment, and now your fans don't have to go to YouTube or go to Twitter to try to relive that moment. They can literally watch as it happens. You got the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks in a steel cage. I want to say, was that Full Gear 2021? I think it meant Full Gear 2021.
Seems like a lot of big moments happened in 2021. I
mean, 2021 for AEW was a great year. It was a great year, and that's what's upsetting from the standpoint of where they come now, and they're doing it with overall. I know he wasn't a homegrown talent, but MJF was an Indies wrestler, an indie talent who's now been catapulted to where if his contract is up 1/1/24, oh boy, so. And this, once again, the CM Punk behind the scenes thing. We've all heard of that, right? That doesn't happen in the self-policing WWE locker room.
Yeah.
Talent's not going to be able to get physical and not have a resolution or have this tension. That's not going to happen. Even before CM Punk got there, we heard about the Andrade and the Sammy Guevara beef. How they it's just all this crazy stuff to where it's just way more of a corporate structured environment in WWE versus AEW. Not saying AEW is a Wild Wild West, but I hope that they find it, and I hope Tony can find somebody that he trusts and stop doing these. I have a special announcement to make for the dumbest thing in the world.
I think he's got somebody, from my understanding, and that would be Danielson.
Okay.
He's got that one person that he trusts more than anybody that he, if Tony were to step down, Danielson's the one he'd, hand it to and step it up to. So it's a matter of how much longer does Danielson have in the ring till he's, backstage running the show. You and I both know he it's getting close for him.
Yeah, I mean, this little matches with regular, nothing crazy, and he's getting hurt. He's getting hurt like Cole. Cole, he was in WWE for what, 4 or 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Never had these rash of injuries.
I was about to say, I feel like when it comes to injuries, AEW has the injury bug 24/7.
Yep. It's almost like AEW is the NXT, the WWE Women's Tag Team titles.
Yeah.
They're just cursed. But before that, and we go any further, we get into some Fastlane results. We'll discuss that. And we also do our running at the end of the show as well. We're going to run a little commercial from one of our sponsors over at Royal Billiards and Comar, PA.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years, and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom-reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
Make sure you go check them out, Royal Billiards, over in Colmar, PA. Billiards, recreation, spa. This is that time of year, man. I'm not going to lie. It's getting colder out. And I was playing golf today, 8 o'clock tee time. And trust me, it took me about 3 holes before my hands actually stopped stinging every time I took a swing. It hit the ball and making contact. It's just, and it wasn't even cold. It was like 50, but I'm just like, bro, like, just not built for this no more, man. Like, I wish I, like, after we get off air, I wish I had a hot tub I could hop in. So I may have to hit Royal Billiards. I'm God's honest truth, bro. So Fastlane happened last Saturday, I believe. Yes. And 5 matches, very, very different flow from what AEW does with like 14, 13 matches. 5 matches, and the pay-per-view lasted 3 hours. It filled 3 hours. So we kicked it off with Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso. If I'm not mistaken, this is all off the top of my head. Me and Butters have not talked about this. It's pretty much the Undisputed World Tag Team titles against the Judgment Day. Mm-hmm. I will presently say I was shocked at the result. I was shocked. You were right. I was shocked. I didn't see him go in that direction, but now, after seeing what we saw tonight, which we'll get to this week in wrestling, makes sense. Because now you plant the seed for the dissension within Judgment Day. Maybe there may be some cracks at the seam. And then now you have a reason to that bloodline story that we haven't touched in SummerSlam. Now these people could be in the same vicinity again, because now the Undisputed Tag Team Champions they can cross brands.
Correct.
So overall, match was good. Match was great. All 4 guys could work. Mm-hmm. And like the finish it is what it is. And then you're doing the Cody cutter into the 1D, then a crossroads on top of that. It was I don't know why they, like, I guess you can't have Priest take the pin, right? Because he's the senior Money in the Bank, right? Mm-hmm. But man, fuck, Balor has been, his shoulders have been to the mat for 1, 2, 3 a lot in the last 5 or 6 months.
I know,
every
right?
Match
Multiple times against Seth, you know, the man keeps getting screwed over left and right, and then you got what's his name that that comes out with Finn. Wants to join the Judgment Day. What's his name?
JD?
Yeah, JD. Poor JD can't catch a break trying to help.
Nah, I mean, and then we talked about it last week, right? Last Friday Smackdown, when they first walked in, JD is there, and Damian says, "Why are you here? Like, what are you doing here?" And then Rhea says, "I don't know." It's almost like Rhea has with her Nia, and I know she's defending the title against Shayna Baszler this upcoming Monday on the season premiere of Raw.
I don't think it's a title defense.
Is it not?
No, I think it's just a straight up. She's trying to put the division in place, so she just wants to beat the shit out of somebody.
Okay, so my rebuttal. So, from there, the match itself. What did you think of the match? What do you? How do you feel? Do you feel vindicated? Do you want to take a victory lap? Because I think you were the one of us out of the 3 of us that did say that Cody and Jay.
I saw it going a different, like the aftermath going a different direction than what they did. Mm-hmm. That's kind of why I felt Cody and Jay were winning it. Mm-hmm. I felt the aftermath was going to be more of the KO Sammy route and go through that.
Well, that's not going to happen now.
I know. Well, and then after Monday night, I was like, wait, that's not going to happen in period, because, KO's like, all right, cool. You're good with me. Shake hands.
Right.
And I'm like, well, shit, there weren't those plans. I mean, cool, I was right, but the plans I had laid out was like, whoop.
Yep.
Here's Monday Night Raw. So overall, it was a great match. I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, 4 guys can work. I said that already, but I truly didn't see it coming. I didn't see it going in that direction because they had just won the titles the month before. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They did. Just won the titles the month before, and now you take them off. But if you can get me with the bigger picture, almost similar to what AEW did with Cole and MJF winning the ROH World Tag Team titles, right? There's a bigger story to that. You could tie something else into that to where now you can get there, right? Whereas if you would have did the Judgment Day, do all this other stuff, beat goes on and continues. But now you really create 2 different storylines, right? 2 different avenues of stories and road paths out of one move, right? Because if Cody and Jay didn't win, where did it go from there? What do you do with them now? You know what I mean? So, the second match on the card
would be
the
LWO versus Lashley and his group.
Okay. I liked it.
I did too. I like the return of Carlito. I really wasn't expecting the LWO to pick up the win. I was expecting Lashley and his squad to pick it up, to further that, dominance. But then, with the return of Carlito, it's like, do you really have Carlito lose when, with his, re-debut?
I mean, as much as I love Carlito, you could have them lose and him not take the pin and still doesn't take anything away from his return. This is a new, like the LWO is an established faction. You got Bobby Lashley, the Street Profits, all 3 of them wearing suits, all 3 of them wearing match and ring attire, right? No name. There's not a name to the faction. It's just Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. I think Lashley and the Street Profits, for me, in my personal opinion, would have benefited more from that win versus LWO. Right now, we kind of saw a little get back tonight against Carlito. And here's my other problem with the finish. No, Carlito loves the apples, whatever, that's cool. My man, you did a backstabber. Backstabbers now are setup moves for women. Not taking sex out of it. People do backstabbers all the time. That's your finisher, though? Like, we haven't.
That's been his finisher.
Huh?
That's been his finisher since like day one.
I hear you. No, I get it. I understand. I'm just saying that's like, it's hard. How can I explain it? It's now I feel like the move has been watered down some. It's not as effective. And he hit forward with it into where boom, I'm down for the 3 count. You feel what I'm saying? Like where I've seen I want to know who else does it. Gargano. I want to say either Gargano or Ciampa does it. There's at least 3 women that I know that does it. I know Sasha, she did it. Mercedes Moné, she would do it and roll into her bank statement, whatever. I don't know what it's called now. I know Selena Vega has done it in the past. And we're not talking they do it to set up a finisher. They do it, pin somebody, 2 count, they kick out. So I get it. The surprise, I like the way they did it.
It's more of it's a devastating move at that point. If it's to set the finisher, or not set up the finisher, but that's the finisher. Backstabber 1, 2, 3. It shows you that's a devastating move, regardless of whether it's done on a male or female talent.
Well, it's not so much the talent; it's just where it's done in the match. To where, like, if I'm seeing you do a move that people constantly kick out of, and I know that's not your finisher. I know it's a move that's not going to put somebody down for a 3 to automatically see that, but it is the originator. I will give you that. It's almost like saying the same thing as like, okay, everybody does DDTs now, but we all know Jake the Snake Roberts DDT is different. or Arn Anderson's DDT is different. It looks the same.
John Moxley's.
Right. It looks the same. But that's just the bite off the execution. That's all that is. Because that was Edge's first finisher, if people don't remember.
Yeah, but Edge
Taylor DDT. So
yeah, but Edge picks him up for that though.
He did.
Moxley just is a straight drop.
Yeah.
He's more of a bend and straight drop. He doesn't pick him up.
Sorry, excuse the dog in the background, people.
And it's a doggo. They get the pass.
Yeah. So, but no, I like the way that they did the match. How they started off with 2 versus 3. Carlito's music hits. It's very short and sweet, and you're not getting all of him right now. Once again, we'll get into what we see tonight transpire on season premiere Friday at Smackdown and this week in wrestling. But it was cool. I think the next match was at the triple threat for the women's title.
Yes.
Okay, I'm doing pretty good at this myself. I did not know I was gonna be this good. So great match. Great match. I love the result.
Yes.
I love the result. I love the finish, how it looked like Asuka was tapping out, Charlotte doing the bridge, and her taking the moonsault from that position. Oh my, that could not have been fun. She could have easily dislocated both shoulders. So you have to know.
That could have easily gone 100% wrong.
Yes. And once again, I think I saw somewhere, but Bayley is such an underrated superstar of the women's division, almost like the glue. She ties everything together, for good or bad. And trust me, the face, maybe not so much. Else, I just don't like she's a 49ers fan. That's
damn.
She's from that area. She's from the Bay Area, California. It is what it is. I can't control that. But yeah, I'm not. The Niners are not my favorite group right now. But
I've been a Bayley fan since day one. So
right now I do feel like that is coming to a head with EO, and it makes me sad a little. But once again, we'll lead to this week in wrestling, and we'll explain why. But for this moment, I felt like EO had her moment, beating Asuka, beating Charlotte in that stage, in a match that went probably close to a half an hour, if I'm not mistaken. So the women could definitely go.
It went 17 minutes and 20 seconds.
Okay, so I'm rounding up more than 10 minutes, but that's okay. It felt like it was longer though.
I know.
What was the time on the 2 matches before? I felt like the 6-man was the shortest.
So Cody, let's see. The first match was 20 minutes and 40 seconds. The 6-man was, I think, the shortest at 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the EO Asuka one is at 17:20. The next match, which was Cena and Knight versus the Bloodline, 17:20. Weird. And then, of course, the main event was 28:25.
I don't know how they did it. It's like you're saying, so 23, 10, that's 33. 17, that's 50. Another 17, that's an hour and 7.
It's like an hour and a half.
So it's an actual hour and a half of actual wrestling?
Yeah, if you look 20, that's 30. First 2 matches are 30 minutes. The second 2 matches are 34 minutes, so that's an hour and 4 minutes. An hour and 5 minutes, And then an extra 28 minutes, that's like a little over an hour and a half of wrestling with an hour and a half of filler.
When you say it like that, it feels bad. So I don't know how they. But
these are the action. I mean, these are the match times, but it feels like they've gone longer. But again, that's an hour and a half.
Yeah, it didn't. So it was an hour and a half, but it didn't feel like it didn't watch like it was 3 hours. That is true. But also the entrances and stuff like that adds to it. But
yeah, that is true. You got the entrances, so that right there could be another half an hour worth of entrances. I mean,
yeah. Any other thoughts on the women's match that you want to chime in on?
No, I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. with Bailey Io is going to come to a head. I think with Bailey costing Io the title at some point soon.
Maybe right about that.
Go ahead.
No. Finish your thought. You had it. You were going.
No. That's what I was saying is it's going to come to a head here soon because they keep hinting towards it. They keep putting it out there, and Bailey keeps sticking her nose in there. So it's eventually going to cost Io that title. Right. And Io's going to get pissed, and that's where it just comes to a head. And like Don said, 3 minutes of Jimmy getting thrown around like a rag doll.
I mean, Don just said he wished Jay could throw him around for 3 minutes like a rag doll. He'll take that. See here, yes, that exactly, and it doesn't even feel like it, but you feel like all the wrestlers have they have. Not only that, do they have their spots to get your work in, get your stuff in. They say other things to each other when they're in the ring. But like Cody, that's now if you notice, they do it twice.
Yeah, the pandering to a crowd.
They do it twice. So they do it on the walkout. He gets to the ring. Now he gets on the ropes. They do it again. Obviously with
Seth
Jimmy.
Rollins.
Said,
look at Seth Rollins. The pandering for his is ridiculous.
Yes.
It's almost Undertaker-esque at that point.
Jay goes to the corner, gets the crowd hype. I get it. You know what I mean? Charlotte takes her time. Io comes down pretty fast. Lashley's whole thing. And then they didn't do the pedestal, though. But they still just walk slow. But nevertheless, I'm not singing nothing. It's kind of both. At a point, and we'll hit that. We'll hit that real quick. So, Cena Knight versus Jimmy and Solo.
It's a good match.
Yeah,
the right
expected outcome. Expected outcome. Jimmy took the pin in this, right?
I do what?
Jimmy took the pin in this, correct?
I do believe so. Yes.
Okay.
The right people took this one. The right person took. Made it happen. We're furthering the storyline. We're furthering LA Knight, getting him up there further and further, and then tonight was even more elevation, Then we had Rollins versus Nakamura, last man standing. Felt good paced. Yo, Riz, what's up?
Travel safely, sir. I think he said it's 16 hours?
14, probably 16? 14 to 16 hours.
Yeah.
Travel how fast you drive.
Hope you had a good time, by the way. He's been there for about a week.
I know he probably has.
Main event felt cool. I'm kind of indifferent. I think not could have won, maybe not should have won. I can kind of see, but we all know we're waiting for that other shoe to drop, right? We're waiting for that cash in to drop.
Yes. They teased it that night that it wasn't happening because Priest,
right,
because of the briefcase shot. And I was like, I've seen worse, guys. Come on, y'all could have done it.
Greg says, oh my God, Andy, you drove. Grow up and fly.
Bro, sometimes it's cheaper to drive.
I mean, it depends on who you fly, though. I mean, I know people flying out of Delaware to Florida every 2 weeks on $80 round trip. So, I mean, depends on what you fly. I mean, but no, I get it. To each his own. I didn't feel like it was 28 minutes. It felt like there were some slow spots at times. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised at the move with the Falcon Arrow through the table kept knocked down for a 10 count. But because Seth was getting up from everything, but that's the story you want to tell. Seth is selling with the back on with the KT tape on the back. You can see it. It's injured. They kind of Nakamura saying, I'm gonna break you. I'm gonna like won't be able to hold your kids, your quality of life, all that. And then boom, Seth conquers that challenge as well, right? Standing tall at the end. So I get it. Overall, Fastlane was a good show. It's a good filler show. Now we got Crown Jewel at the beginning of September, then we got Survivor Series. So
correct.
Things are looking in place for certain things that happen. But overall, Fastlane, I would probably give it for because it's really match-wise, I really didn't think any match was a bad match.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the finishes I may have gone in a different direction. Overall, out of 5 stars, I'll probably give it 4 stars.
I give it about 4.5.
4.5. For a 5-match pay-per-view, for a 5-match card, and hearing the numbers, it didn't feel like that. Mm-hmm. It didn't feel like we got that little wrestling, actual in-ring wrestling. So,
I was about to say, you give me 3 hours with 5 matches at, say 30 minutes apiece. Talk to me. That's 30 minutes of, in between time, entrances, whatnot. You can cut it down to 20 minutes apiece. I'd be fine there, So I would say, give me a little bit longer wrestling, like you were saying. Give me a little bit longer matches. Cut out some of that filler, some of those entrances. You really can't cut them out on pay-per-view versus, a Monday Night Raw or a SmackDown or, live TV. But at the same time, give me a little more wrestling. Give me, make the outcomes less obvious, more shocking.
I was shocked. I was shocked with a couple. Me personally. You, on the other hand, calling shots like you got an inside source. But
I wish.
I was definitely shocked at a couple. I would say the first 3 matches and those finishes, I was shocked. So that's more than half the card to where the outcomes weren't what I expected.
Okay.
For me personally.
Yeah. Mike, do you comment that Tony's a little child deep inside? He's a fanboy. Mm-hmm. He's just not going to accept anything until his guys beat him at least once. I don't know.
To me, Tony has to learn how to stay focused on task with a plan and not be so thin-skinned.
Yep.
And not take everything personal. And let things be and let things lie that you cannot control.
Correct.
I would say, and then don't let wrestlers book themselves to a point, right? Like, for instance, we'll get into This Week in Wrestling. Perfect transition, right? Tonight's season premiere of Smackdown, and this will take us up to the run-in, and then we'll sign off. The season premiere of Smackdown starts off with Cena. Roman comes out. In a swerve, Cena says, I'm here. I'm not here to challenge you. I'm here to acknowledge you, but I know somebody who is ready. And that's, I didn't think we'd get LA Knight till December to Rumble. I didn't think they was going to interact with each other that fast. And I think LA Knight held his own.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But you could tell he pulls influences from a lot of different things, where I felt like tonight, he's from Hagerstown, Maryland, Baltimore, DC. Like, when he said that one line, it's like, talking like that gonna get you thought about in the past tense. I was like, oh.
Yes.
I could have swore I heard that in The Wire or something. Like, what we doing here? Like, this is the gangster LA Knight. I mean,
hell, that comment he made to Sokoa about turning him upside down and using his ass as a mop. I said,
right.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to the fact he always comes out with Tim's, because Tim's is not light. Timberland boots is not light, so he can come out and whatever, but that's his choice. The look back when he walks across the ring, a la Austin, obviously he's pulling different things from different greats, right? But on the mic, in that moment, it felt natural. It felt believable. I didn't feel like the moment was. I didn't feel like. I didn't feel like LA Knight was like the moment overwhelmed him. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't feel like he didn't belong visually with him and Roman, right? It's one thing to say you want this because you get the pop, but then when you see two of them in the ring together, amongst all that, okay, I can work with this, right?
That rub from Cena, saying, hey, I'm not the one that's, want to be here. It's this guy,
right?
We have LA Knight, then, Cena, stepping back like, hey, I don't want nothing, let this guy,
right.
I'm letting this whole, take a step back and let the, the new guy, show you what's up. I was all for it.
Yeah. Then we got the graphic after that. They set up the match, Solo, LA Knight for the main event. I can dig that. That's a way to get Cody back to where some of us want him to go. And I think people forgot like how big Roman is and just visually imposing, not even like over. And then his mic, like he's just like, bro, like the GOAT is me, like, you know what I mean, like, and not in a very humble way, bragging about himself. And then the vignettes and not vignettes, but the skits we were getting all the way to backstage, and he says, "I'm the quarterback, ha ha," and you can never. He's like, "Imagine if I'm serious." Right, to Jimmy. Imagine if I'm serious. And I think Jimmy's finding his own because Jimmy's a nuisance. Jimmy is that one friend who's like, pop all this, and can't beat nobody up on his own, right? But wait till I come back with my cousin. Wait till I come back with my tribal chief, where I got my enforcer with me, right? But overall, I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't want to go through the whole card. I think real quick, it was Brawling Brutes versus Pretty Deadly next. They changed their music, different entrants. I like them. They're a different change of pace.
The reintroduction of GMs.
Yes, reintroduction. Shout out to Nick Aldis. I wish he would have went when he was still going, bro. Because that's one Impact star I would have loved to see in WWE. Greg says, "Don't ruin the show for me."
What the hell, Greg? Do your homework. Watch the show before you watch our show. Otherwise, you're getting spoiled, bro.
So we'll speak the things that we kind of spoke to in the Fastlane rundown. Carlito got taken out tonight. We don't know by who.
Yeah, it was the Profits and Lashley.
So I didn't see it. So it was the Profits.
Yeah, Lashley come up to him, talking his mess, and then the Profits just blindsided him.
Okay, cool.
Dominic still getting that heat. Triple H
Crazy
made that comment,
heat, bro.
Triple H making that comment. Man, I always thought this was piped in, but I'm hearing it first. I'm like, damn.
And Aldis is the great introduction. He's like, "Hey Dom, I'm a fan of your dad."
Yes.
Like the delayed.
If you hear the crowd, they're like, "Cool, it's Nick Aldis. Yay, he's the GM. Yay!" And as soon as he makes that comment, all of a sudden the crowd's behind him now.
Yeah, the crowd's behind him now because he chose his side right now.
Yeah.
So that was great. Then
big match made for next week.
Which one? The
Charlotte versus Io for the title.
But what happened after that? I don't even think that was. So that's why I think Charlotte's dropping it. But I will say this: Jade Cargill had over almost 60 matches in AEW in a time frame that she was there.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that I feel as if they've booked her better and made her feel like a bigger star without her even stepping foot in the ring yet is genius. And it's more escalated every week. Like she was there. We didn't even talk about her. She was there NXT Tuesday night.
Yes.
She was there. Met Shawn Michaels earlier that day on Tuesday. Said, "What? I wonder what he's calling me about." And she showed it was Shawn Michaels, right?
Yep.
So tonight, and this tonight wasn't expected.
No,
tonight wasn't expected at all.
I think she's supposed to be showing up on Raw permanently, but I think they're just trying to introduce her across the brands to kind of get that out there.
What you want to do with that blueberry muffin, Don? What would you do with that blueberry muffin?
Don said,
"Don't reply in emojis only." Reply in emojis only. But no, like the fact that we had Chelsea Green, Piper talk about the curse of the women tag team titles, bring them some relevancy so you can visually see it. Then Aldis saying like, "I got something else," and then boom, it's Charlotte, and then boom, you get Jade.
Yes,
and it's like we weren't expecting that because remember everything else they kind of advertised her for. They didn't advertise her for tonight. We didn't know she was going to be there. Makes sense that she's there because it's a season premiere, right?
I can't wait for the season premiere Raw on Monday. I mean,
right? Exactly. Then we got so we skipped the part. Dom's out there, and they say the newest addition to SmackDown, KO. So that's where I will say this. I know we gave credit to WWE being cohesive, right? we gave the credit for WWE being cohesive. I did not see this coming, but now, like you stated, I thought what we saw Monday night was okay. He gave him there's no more beef. Didn't think that mean he was leaving, but I feel like he almost can say, "Hey, I can't." Even though I get it with Jay, I can't be on the show with him like that. I can't be in the same locker room with him every week. But now, where does this leave Sammy now?
I was about to say, what happens to poor Sammy now that it's, KO unfortunately gets drafted, or traded to SmackDown, that puts kind of Sammy on his own again.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know what you do. I mean, could you have Sammy ultimately be the one to beat Gunther for the IC title? Maybe.
No, you're either going to have Bronson Reed or you're going to have Chad Gable do it.
You could. All right, so SmackDown. Get back to SmackDown. We'll talk about that on next week's show after the season premiere Raw. But after we had the tag team title match, once again, Grayson Waller, Austin Theory. That Austin Theory rub with The Rock has reinvigorated him. And then the pairing with Grayson Waller couldn't come at a better time. Could not come at a better time. I love it, man. Like just visually, them two. I'm trying to think. I can go back and try to think of a tag team they remind me of. I do think ultimately they'll end up being two single stars as well. But for right now, and Austin already kind of has that experience, even though Grayson is a lot older. I think Grayson's almost 40. Like he's on the plus side of 34, 35. Mm-hmm. I think it's great. So it's crazy that now this is where I think ultimately after that match, obviously, Cody and Jay successfully defend their titles. We get LA Knight versus Solo to close out the match, and Solo does take the win with the blunt force trauma. Don't break anything. It's a little shot. I don't like Solo taking pins for whatever, because the way that this
one made sense though.
It did. No, it made perfect sense. And then after that, celebrating, doing all this, and it comes down off the ropes, turns around, boom, spear.
Yep.
And then this is the moment where Roman is so good because he's elevating me. Because remember earlier in the night, that very first interview, that very first segment, he says, who are you? Like, just because they're chanting your name, who are you? Like, he doesn't take him serious. But what does Roman do at the end of the show? He does so obviously, like, it's somewhat cliche. You acknowledge him, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're acknowledging him that he is a person, that he is someone that could somewhat contend. You know what I mean? Because it's all a little different, because everybody up to this point was already established in a way in WWE. Even Cody, even though he left, Cody had single titles, Cody had tag team titles, KO obviously, Sammy obviously. He took it off for Braun. I know he had the triple threat match with Bray, God rest his soul. Cena obviously, AJ obviously, Danielson obviously, Edge obviously. So this is like that first one to where it's like, hey, like this is different. Like, this is a young guy. Not young in age, but young to this, a new face where he sitting here saying, oh, you're in my way. And it's also probably the first time, and since it is a season premiere, those red and blue belts are gone. You know what I mean? Like, this was, and that belt was looking extra shiny tonight. It actually looked pretty good. So for me, this, in that 2-hour window that they have, SmackDown knocked it out the park, because you laid the groundwork for so many different things. And then I know I kind of glossed over it too, but we talked about the reason why you had picked Cody and Jay to go over with the tag team titles. What did we get? And Roman had mentioned it earlier. Like, I got Jay Uso running around my show. I got Cody running around my show. I got this new kid LA Knight. I got John Cena here. You're looking at Jimmy and like, yo, we're like, I gave you the play. You said you was a quarterback, second string. Now I'm the quarterback. I called audible. I gave you the play. Go run the play.
Yep.
Get Jimmy out there. And then I love how when the music, not so much when the music for Roman first hit, and Jay was by himself at the top of the ramp or the top of the walkway, Cody was still behind. We flash, they go off screen, and Cody standing right there next to him. So you got Roman, Heyman, Solo, Jimmy. All three of them is over at Jay. Who's standing face to face? Cody and Roman. So I know Metal Mike had asked Cody versus Roman or Cody versus or LA Knight versus Roman. I've been adamant in saying LA Knight versus Roman is going to be your Royal Rumble main event. If anything, where Triple H is thinking right now, everything that's going on within the next couple months, Survivor Series around the corner. These dudes just won the tag team titles. Roman even says, listen, these tag team titles can't be on them. Yep. So obviously we're going to get Solo and Jimmy versus Cody and Jay. But through all that, when we meet face to face, you could do all this talking shit behind the scenes and separate spaces, right? But when we get face to face again, it's like boom, it's WrestleMania build up all over again because it's Cody and Roman all together again.
I see Crown Jewel being Roman versus LA Knight. This is what we're setting up for.
Yeah. But I will say, like, for the fact that Roman came out, he immediately stepped in front of Cody, and Cody immediately stepped in front of Roman. That visual, like I said, I can't stress to you enough.
Yes.
The cinematography, that was great. I can't stress to you enough what that shot symbolizes to what direction they want to take it. You know what I mean? Because they're not supposed to be on the path together. They really, like, Roman got this new kid, LA Knight, he got to worry about. I understand you want the tag team titles for the bloodline and all that, but you ain't had to come step in front of Cody like that. You could have stepped in front of Jay, or you didn't even have to come out. They came out to your music. You could have stood behind, right? But you chose to step to that side and step right in front of Cody and get closer, right? What up, Hefe?
What's up, Tom?
So overall, great show. Curious to see now what we get with Raw and what surprises we may get.
Yep.
And I do think this, though. I do think ultimately some way, somehow, they get to a weird finish with the tag team titles, because I think you have enough tag teams to split them. I don't think you need one team carrying all four straps, because I mean, let's just look at SmackDown, right? Let's look at SmackDown. Raw is not as equipped with tag teams right now as SmackDown. SmackDown has Pretty Deadly. You have Brawling Brutes. You have the Street Profits. What's that? 3?
Yeah.
Grayson and Theory, 4. Solo and Jimmy, 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then if you want to throw in the LWO, Joaquin Wilde and the other boy, I forget his name, whatever, because now you got 6 in LWO now. I mean, you got 4 men and Carlito. I think Carlito's going to join the LWO.
I think it's a part of the LWO, yeah.
Okay. So you got 5. I mean, on Raw, you got New Day per se, Viking Raiders, who Ivar is taking the best. He's taking the best of his opportunity so far.
Yes.
He's definitely standing on his own, because I think they said Eric is going to be out for maybe 5 or 6 months.
Yeah, some sort of injury. He's going to be out for a few months, yeah.
But I think you got Alpha Academy. I mean, obviously you got Imperium.
Mm-hmm.
We thought you had Sammy and Kevin, but you don't. They probably could use a tag team call up.
You have DIY.
DIY, but I think that's temporary.
Nah, I don't think they have anything for them to do right now. So you just put DIY together.
So how many is that? So you got what?
5.
New Day? That's 5?
You got New Day, Viking Raiders, DIY. Who else do we say? Cody and Jay. I know there was one more. New Day.
That's currently on there? I said Alpha Academy.
Yes, there we go. That's the other one.
Okay. I'll give you another one. I think they probably are ready, and they can just get off just with their. And we also said Imperium too, right? Did you get Imperium?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So there's like 5 or 6. Yeah.
All right. Creed Brothers to Raw would not hurt.
No.
Creed Brothers to Raw would not hurt because it's a 3-hour show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you could in a sense split the tag titles, but the ability to have your tag team champions kind of cross the brands.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen until after Mania or near Mania because they want to somehow. Did they say tonight? Well, I mean, I'm sorry, Greg, I'm spoiling this for you, but did they say tonight when they announced KO that was the roster member to be named later in the Jey Uso trade?
Yes, because Nick brought it up.
Okay, is that it? Is that all the compensation?
Yes, that is the. They said they were owed a trade compensation, and that he was introducing the new superstar to SmackDown, and it was KO.
Okay.
So yeah, unfortunately, it is not Cody to SmackDown like everybody was hoping.
I mean, it kind of is. Could you see Jay and Cody having the belts that long?
Possibly. To further that bloodline versus the storyline.
Right. You could. But overall, good show, good week in wrestling. I'm trying to think. Obviously, a couple Randy Orton things dropped. We got a name of what Matt Riddle and Drew McIntyre's team name would have been. Would have been Mick Riddle. And they already had, they already had merch already mocked up for it. Trying to think of what else, man.
The only thing I mean, Billy Corgan announced a new promotion for NWA.
I didn't hear that.
Yes. Let me pull it back up here. Exodus Pro will be a new territory for the NWA, and that the Exodus Pro Heavyweight Championship will be recognized by the NWA. Corgan said that Exodus Pro will now be called NWA Exodus Pro, and the brand will represent NWA champions coming to Cleveland, Ohio. It'll be because he wants the territories back.
Okay.
So he's trying to build his own territories in a sense.
Well, I mean, listen, for right now where wrestling is at as a fan, I wish everybody to have success. I want everybody to succeed in everything they're trying to do. No setbacks, pedal to the floor, balls to the wall, if you want to say, because that just makes it better for us as fans to be able to. I mean, it's hard to watch everything, but
correct.
That means that
there's plenty of weeks where I'm missing something, whether it be SmackDown, right. AEW, NXT, or Raw. Can't watch it all.
No, can't watch it all. Do you have anything for the run-in?
No, I think we've pretty much talked it all.
Okay. I will get, because he's not here, and I know he would ask me a sports-related question. Jets versus Eagles is going to be somewhat of a preseason game. There's key players out for the Eagles, possibly key players out for the Jets, but it's still Zach Wilson until I see him do it. Birds go to 6-0. Get ready for Miami Dolphins on Sunday Night Football next week. And Butters keeps wearing the hat every week, and they have not lost since.
Do what?
Yes, so you've worn the hat every week, and they have not lost since you've worn it.
I know, right? Don't jinx it.
Like it says right there, hit the like and the subscribe down there. Let me go a little bit there, like a little catty corner there, right there. I mean, for the run-in, man, I pretty much don't have anything else. Nothing really odd. So I will say this: next Transformers movie, all animated, War for Cybertron. it's a prequel. It shows the story of how, and on a big screen, of how Optimus and Megatron, once friends, became generational enemies. I'm all here for it, and I need it to be a success because I need to get the third movie.
I'm all for it. I actually watched, what was it?
Rise of the Beast?
No, I watched that when it came to streaming. As soon as it came to streaming, I was, boom, Rise of the Beast. No, I think it was last weekend, caught the first episode for the new Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. It's the final season, 30 years of Power Rangers. It is going to be the literal series finale.
Oh, for the whole franchise.
Correct, before they reboot.
Okay.
They're going to do a reboot here in a few years, I think 2025. But this is for the original like Saban Bandai era of things. No more, used footage like they've always done. This is all going to be straight up from the ground up. So this is the final.
Okay.
And to end it the way it starts, I mean, I'm already ready to watch the rest of it.
Okay. Cool. I have to check that out. But for myself, for Butters, for the one that's driving back from Florida, our captain, Andy Ritz, tonight's show was brought to you by Alonzi Travel, our main title sponsor, specializing in the dreams of vacations for you. Hit up one of our talented travel experts, whether it be Andy or whether it be Chuck's, because they'll build whatever your heart calls for you. So go to Alonzi-travel / take the trip, and then they'll hook you up. For myself, for Butters, for the steppy one in the back producing for us, I didn't even know he had this talent. He came in clutch tonight. But from all of us here at A2D Radio, we'll say fly, Eagles fly. Red October continues. Philly's going all the way.
Go Stros!
Them Texas teams. All right, kick him out, Greg. I can't do it. But until next Friday, peace, love, happiness. We are out of here.